Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I'm your host, Jeff Hutzell. I'm the Chief Cloud Officer over at AuditMax. As you guys know, you've seen before, Tech Talk is a show. We talk to IT leaders from across the country and some fantastic organizations and guys that are doing really interesting things in technology today. We've got an awesome guest lined up today. So one of the companies that's actually been a really big success story and has really thrived throughout this pandemic. We've got Jason Johnson. Jason's with Sweetwater. So Sweetwater, Jason's the Senior VP of IT. If you guys are familiar with them as a company, they're one of the probably the number one online music retailer out there. They also have brick and mortar stores as well. So we're happy to have Jason on with us today. Jason, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff.
So buddy, for guys that aren't familiar with Sweetwater, you guys are obviously growing extremely fast, but maybe tell us a little bit about the company and some of the things you guys are up to.
Yeah, so Sweetwater is the largest online retailer for pro audio equipment. That's microphones, guitars. We always kind of joke that we get the opportunity to sell rock and roll. It's all direct to consumer. It really is right now about 7 million customers, and we deal with those customers one-on-one. Some of those might be churches, they might be other businesses, studios, but mostly it's folks that are playing guitar when they get off work, and that's their passion.
Yeah, you said about when we get off work, so now that everybody's working from home, I guess those passions are getting stirred up a little bit, right? People are looking for hobbies and new things to do. So, you guys have been around
Absolutely.
as a business you guys have been around for 40 plus years as a company. How has the pandemic been for you guys? What are you guys seeing?
The pandemic has actually been, from a business perspective, has been really, really good to us. Obviously, we've had the same challenges with staffing and just everything else and dealing with life in general, just like everybody else. From an actual revenue standpoint, I've talked to so many people out there that said, hey, I got a guitar, I got a keyboard sitting in the corner that's been collecting dust for 10 years, and now I've been looking at it, 8 hours a day, and I finally decided to get it back out and start playing again. So I think we're really we're going to find out we're really in a renaissance period where there's a lot of new music being created and a lot of people getting back into music, which is, great for us. And I think, really great for, the world.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, and you just finished building a really brand new, state-of-the-art, really large facility right before COVID hit, right? I mean, talk a little bit about that.
So we moved into a brand new $65 million, 550,000 square foot warehouse, largest project in the company history, on February 17th, and we were shut down on March 24th. So we were just really packing our first boxes in that facility when we lost all our staff. We were sending technology people home. We had on-site folks, conveyor engineers, and other really specialty folks that we had brought in that literally in the middle of the project, as we're moving inventory up, said, well, my company is recalling us, we're going home. So that was a really, really interesting couple months there as we got off to a really rocky start in that building. But in true Sweetwater fashion, everybody just kind of rolled their sleeves up and said, what can we do? And we made it through what had ended up being a huge incubation period for our software and our processes. There was a point in time where our owner was out there packing boxes, and I was standing next to him, and we were saying, hey, let's put a pop-up box in here or do this. And we would go back and sit down at the desk and work through the problems and have a build later, 20 minutes later, and we'd go out there and start packing boxes again. So very exciting from a change perspective.
Yeah, it's awesome. And you guys really have it sounds like a great company culture and a culture that really embraces change. I mean, talk a little bit about your philosophy as it comes to technology and IT and the overall business. What does that look like?
So Sweetwater's IT team is very outcome focused, and when I say outcome, I mean outcome for the business. Everything we do is to support something that the business needs or wants to better serve our customers. And we believe and have always believed for a very, very long time that a differentiator in that is custom software development. So we build all of our own software in-house. We have very, very, very few vendors or partners that we lean on, and when we do, we typically start off the conversation with, if we implement this right, our end users will never know you exist. So usually there are a lot of very specialty engines and other stuff like that provide us a consistent API to, many things. But we believe that we build all our own software. We believe that that's a differentiator. We believe that makes us stronger and better and allows us to provide a much, much better customer experience. So that's what the 60 folks sitting behind me are back there doing, is essentially writing code over about 120 some apps.
Yeah, so give me some examples of how that's really benefited you guys, because you see a lot of movement in this space with IT leaders we talk to that are they're going more the SaaS model. They're looking to strategically work with different vendors and getting out of the the homegrown development piece. But I think for you guys, like you said, it's been a competitive advantage. So give me some examples of how that's benefited you guys over the last year.
Yeah, I think that when you look at things like lead time to deliver features, um, clearly ours is better than any other vendor or any other off the shelf piece of software that we've dealt with. We can turn features in hours that get deployed. We as a large single site location, one of our biggest advantages is as a team is being able to deploy those features and then go out and talk to the people using them within that hour and get good feedback from them and continue to iterate. So we believe in really short short cycles. We practice an agile like methodology. Sometimes we call it agile with a little a, or a swagile. Sometimes it gets nicknamed internally. Um, but we've really been embracing microservices. We invested in Google's on-premise Anthos product for containerization and cloud orchestration. So that is something we're doing on-prem and utilizing all those cloud features, but still locally within our building. So I've seen the results of that really drive the speed and quality of how we can deliver software to our end users. That's been very exciting to watch.
No, that's great. So as you're kind of thinking out, looking out over the next 12 months to 24 months with your business and kind of what's next for Sweetwater, what are you guys focused on, and what are you looking towards from the future?
I think the retail space right now is really interesting. We're somewhat in a phase where we are growing super rapidly, and we have to scale and expand all of our systems for that. And at the same time, Sweetwater's never laid anybody off, and we are really proud of that. We hold the income of our employees at a really high level, so we want to make sure that we are conservative in that growth. From an IT perspective, where that really where the rubber meets the road for me on that is probably in hybrid cloud. So how can we leverage those on-prem resources and at the same time be able to burst into public cloud spaces when we need to and have that be completely seamless to our development staff, kind of making it so developers don't need to think about where they're going to deploy. It doesn't really matter. And then our operations team and our DevOps team can shift the load and move things around and make it work for users.
Yeah, I think it's a great approach. Like you said, you just as the last year has kind of told us, we have no idea, what's coming next. We all hope that things are getting back to normal. We really just don't know at this point. So I think having that flexibility, I said being able to respond the way you guys can, but then also be able to plan for that growth. Hopefully Sweetwater continues to grow and grow like you have. So as I dust off my old guitar in the back here that I haven't touched for a few years, if I want to find out more about Sweetwater and what you guys offer and how you guys do things, what's the best way for me to connect with you in the company?
Yeah, so Sweetwater.com is an absolutely wonderful resource. There's a lot of touch points there on our careers page. If you're in the space and you're looking for the technologies we use and kind of some of that story about how we started, we have a very extensive careers page that is not only focused on our job postings, but focused on the story of how our technology got to be where it is. And then we're super excited. We're going to have some stuff coming out here as far as events and some of our internal kind of user groups that we go over. We're going to try to start sharing those publicly here in the next couple of months. So that's exciting too. So.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating company. There's some great stuff online on your website with virtual tours and a lot of different things that you guys offer. And it sounds like the culture you guys have is really unique. So great to hear your perspective, Jason. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in as well. As we continue to go through these interviews, always check on auditmax.com and you can see our library of 100 plus interviews we've had in the past and watch some of those and hear more from folks like Jason out there. And we appreciate you tuning in. So thanks, and you guys have a great afternoon.